Hey everyone, welcome to the No Zoo Lions podcast. After a little hiatus, Chad and I are back. We are super happy to be here and again to tackle jiu-jitsu questions, law enforcement questions, and the like. So, Chad, great to see you. Obviously, I just saw you in Tahoe, and now we're back in our respective cities and homes. But we had a great time there. It was super fun. So, thanks for coming to that.
Hey, thank you for having me. So, guys, Tahoe, epic, amazing camp, phenomenal instruction, gi no gi and law enforcement specific. We had the time to roll. Ari and the Invictus guys listened to feedback from past attendees on things they wanted that got infused into the camp.
Yep.
Ari, one of the coolest things was the actual tournament went very, very well. 8-man tournament. So I
That was
thought
fun. That was a neat addition that we didn't do last year. I want to do it for 2026. We had a lot of great feedback. It was fun to watch. It was super fun to watch.
so super cool. You have not a mandatory part of the camp, people could leave, but you had easily 70 plus
Yeah.
spectators, 80 spectators. Some of the guys own family or loved ones or people from their homes or home teams were out there. Some of the guys had their own coaches
Yeah.
at the camp,
Yeah.
cornering them. And then different camp guys, camper also assisting guys who were competing. The guys competing in the event were in the camp, so people got to rub shoulders with them and see them, and then they would put it on the line and go for it. And I just saw it really well done. Great rule set. Alex Larmy, bringing him out from
It was
Washington
awesome.
State. And Alex is a longtime competitor.
Yeah.
And so he's very familiar, excellent coach, excellent. He's a law enforcement training guy. He did a great job, former military guy, did a great job running the bouts. You and Jason had in place scoring systems. You had in place, if needed, tiebreaker decisions.
Yeah.
Did the judges have to decide any of them, or did the athletes decided every one of them? Yeah, athletes decided it by a decisive score
Yeah.
or a submission.
Yeah. I think the worst thing is I had a lot of trepidation going, oh God, the three of us have to figure out who won that match. Like I literally was worried about it, but it never happened. So
Yeah, 100%. And shout out to every one of those competitors. They did a great job. Shout out to Dan Simler for being the old lion in the room and just showing. And here's the thing for those cops who wonder, should I be training or not? Every one of those guys who competed in that
yeah.
are law enforcement related.
Yep.
Every one of them are jujitsu, MMA, wrestling related. And you could see it actually was a very fun, interesting, competitive tournament.
Yeah.
And you could see the benefit of training consistently over time and how that could benefit you on an actual call. I mean, it
Yeah.
was great.
It was awesome. And
Phenomenal camp. How
yeah,
many people are you at the camp?
we had 110 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so next year it's going to be bigger and better. We're going to have we're going to have a competition again. So I'm just trying to get settled again with Jason, and we'll put out information in the next coming months about next year. So yeah.
Little known fact, Brad Barnes and I had to catch an early Uber the night after our team dinner, and what a great event that was. And enjoying everybody. And an actual bear came strolling down the main drive.
Yeah.
And I posted a video of it. And if you listen to the video carefully, I tell Brad, if it comes over here, we're going to fight it. And Brad goes, great. Because he knows I'm half not kidding. I'm like, we're going to fight this bear. We're actually near a door. We could get inside. But I'm
Yeah.
like, that thing comes over here, we're going to fight it. And Brad's like,
Good.
oh, right. Here we go.
Well, so we're going to get to this week's topic. So Chad and I, what we do is we text back and forward about topics that we want to tackle, and things are constantly coming up in the news, in our profession, and we have a list, we have dozens of podcasts that we can do. But today's podcast, we're going to talk about promotion. and the subjectivity of being promoted, getting a black belt, what it takes to get a black belt or a belt, any belt, but we're going to talk about black belts in particular. We're going to talk about private lessons versus being on the mat with lots of people. And there's some current news stuff coming out with a name which we're going to drop, which people have been talking about, and some of the problems that Chad and I have with how that has gone. Now, to be fair, and I'm going to speak on behalf of Chad, but if I'm wrong, Chad, please let me know. I don't care what you do on the mat and in your school. It's up to you. I don't care who you promote and how you do it. That's up to you and stuff. But there's certain things that kind of cross the line, which come into the realm of I'm going to give my opinion about some things and why I think doing it one way is better than the other. Now, I realize that in everything that we do in life, everyone's going to have opinion and there's going to be counter opinions. We have it in law enforcement, we have it in jiu-jitsu, you name it. So we're just going to give some things to think about. If you disagree with us, that's totally cool and we appreciate that. But hopefully we've thought about this, so we're going to go for it. So Chad, let's talk about promotion, subjectivity, what we are trying to foster in students when we're teaching them, and what traits develop in ourselves when we're doing it.
100%. And I do want to add one more caveat, just because with the guy we're going to talk about, and we'll say his name in a second, and everybody probably already is figuring out who it is. Almost everyone who coached him, or I know him, like I'm going to see him.
Yeah.
And once again, Ari and I want to be clear. How you decide to award a belt is up to you. We're going to talk about what we believe is important, and we're going to talk about the distasteful things I see for me that are distasteful are coming from the dude.
Yeah.
You know, and now the fact they're in the shot with them and stuff, people can say what they want about that. But I haven't seen my friends speak in the way this guy speaks. And it would irritate me enough, I wouldn't do it. But to each their own. And so the fact guys awarded him a belt or gave him privates, more power to you. Like if you have an ability to give a student private and make money and you think he deserves a promotion, give it to him.
Yeah.
We don't care about that. So now, promotion being subjective, what are we attempting to foster, and what traits are we going to develop in ourselves through training or through our students? So to begin with students, I'm trying to foster a number of things. Number one is there's the individual growth that a person can have, and that can be individual growth related to physical capability. That could be some emotional resiliency that could be developed through training on an ongoing situation where I'm training over time. The ability to, I think one of the things, if we're going to use force or violence against other human beings, is we do need to learn the appropriate application of force depending on what the threat is and what the other person is actually capable of. Some of those things are what I'm trying to foster in my students. Is it's not just I'm not just trying to foster in my students an ability or capability to be hard to kill or to kill other people. That is a primary reason we're training. Make no mistake, I'm more about that than competition for me. So we are trying to foster an ability to defend ourselves and to put bad people down if need be. But that's only one thing. I'll use my son. One of my sons was very shy. He's very withdrawn. He's dyslexic. That made him a bit shy, had a hard time reading, made him feel like he wasn't smart at times. Out of 5 sons, he's the 4th. His older brothers were athletic. They were bigger than him. They were stronger than him. So he has these things that aren't drawbacks, but they're things he has to navigate or deal with.
Mm-hmm.
The single biggest thing I saw in growth of my son, and we have a spiritual path we go on. So he's partaking in a spiritual thing on an ongoing basis. The single biggest thing I saw help him in confidence, help him in developing the ability to speak up for himself, and help him with some, what I would call emotional resilience, was training. Not church, not mom and dad trying to infuse it in him, not his older siblings trying to infuse it in him. Going to a gym with strangers and have to enter into combative, controlled combative environments with other people and having them push him and them telling him, encouraging him, guys who were better than him, bigger than him, saying, fight back, let's go, push back. If I push you, you need to push me back in a productive way. I saw more growth in him, and it came for him. The kids program didn't do it. The kids program, all the other stuff we were doing, he already was tougher than most of the kids. When I put him in adult classes a little bit early, because I was coaching, when he was 12, he started coming to adult class. I saw a massive, like through the roof, suddenly, this kid coming into his own personality coming out of the shadow of his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to do that through consistent training. That environment where now I've always offered my sons privates at home in this gym that I'm coming to you right now in. My sons and I have boxed here. We've wrestled here. He didn't get the same benefit of individual training with his dad or maybe a brother mixing in as he did at the gym.
Okay, so are one-on-one lessons or private lessons supplemental to group lessons, or
I believe they are.
is it the other way around?
What do you think?
Well, I think that you need to have different body types, different levels to progress your game. I think that just doing privates will leave a really, really big gap in your game if you do that, because, well, we're going to talk about the reasons why, but I think privates are super important, and I've got so much benefit out of it. But the privates for me are to refine things that I'm doing. I cut my teeth on the white belts when I was a white belt and on the blue belts. That's the type of stuff, like I made all those mistakes and the struggle in there. If you don't have that against and just in a private setting, I think you're missing some things.
So when I give a guy or a gal a random private, and that happens for me a little bit, I'm people will come to Vegas and say, hey, Chad, I'd like to come and train with you. And I'll say yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know their game.
Yeah.
What I'll do in that case is try to pick some fundamental things that it's likely they need to work on from my training experience. And we work on those things, right? Even if they lived here, you could make the argument, well, if they lived there and you saw them more often, you would see more things, guaranteed. But to your point, I believe it is much more valuable to be striving and trying and competing in a room and seeing where you're beginning to struggle. I have a struggle against bigger opponents. I have a struggle against people who can wrestle well. I have a struggle against people who have a great butterfly guard. Well, now we can take a private and hone that, or I can't finish triangles.
Yeah.
Getting there, I'm not finishing. Well, now I take a private and I can hone it in and I can add detail to try to improve your performance in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Because also a private for me is an instructional learning event on steroids, which is one of the arguments. Can I just say his name finally? Moneyberg.
Moneyberg. Yeah.
Moneyberg, one of his arguments is by doing privates, I got only the best instruction. It wasn't diluted by anyone else. And for me, a private is an opportunity for you to get very specific instruction. There is some truth to that being a value of a private. But for me to develop my whole game, I've given privates to students and we've done rounds to see how they're doing, whatever I'm teaching them. But it's still not the same thing as just shaking hands and you don't know, hey, we're working on this half guard counter. We're working on a 3-part half guard series in our private. And so now we roll and both of us know we're working on a 3-part series, half guard and private.
Mm-hmm.
It's private. And in that exchange, I might feed the student what I want to see from them several times because that's what we're working on.
Yeah.
If we were really rolling, you might want to work on that 3-part series from half guard, and I might give you no half guard.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to work on your whole game. Or how do I get to it? how do I infuse what I want to do in a live role with someone who doesn't have anything to do with what I'm currently working on? There's a ton of value. What about the person who doesn't do it right? They do it wrong. There's a lot of value in that. What about the person who does it even sharper or does the next level of what you're working on in your private, and they expose some of the stuff you're working on that you think is going to work all the time. And now you realize, oh man, there's a counter to that. I think you miss out massively by focusing, and this is a general concept. The reason that it's become popular to talk about is you have a guy screaming that he did it smarter, he did it better than everybody else, and we'll talk about that more a little bit later. But I'm trying to foster a number of things other than just a technique through the training process.
Yeah, so the live training that you get is beneficial to getting your black belt, obviously. So if you just do technique for 3.5 years, are you going to be a black belt is the question. And the other question or the response I've seen on the internet chat is people are saying, you see the guys who ended up endorsing his black belt, if they say he's a black belt, he's a black belt. So let's talk about that. What is a black belt, maybe?
So I wouldn't, yeah, and I'm not going to make an argument that they don't feel he's a black belt. They feel he's a black belt. There's an argument that I think is compelling, is that this was the best way to earn a black belt.
Okay.
How does he know he wouldn't be a better black belt if he didn't go to class regularly and test it out and then see things that he could have gone back to as awesome coaches and said, hey, fine tune me on this. I know we've worked on this, but I tried it on 5 guys in class today and it didn't work. And then the coach would go, well, what didn't work? Because this is what happens in privates. Oh, well, the guys kept getting their elbow to here. Or the coach say, okay, let's roll around a little bit without, like, you're going to try to get it on me. And the coach may see the thing he's not doing. That, because in privates, I'm trying to reinforce what I'm teaching you.
Right.
I do privates for students. When I moved to Vegas years ago in 2004, I was an active blue belt and I was competing actively at that time. I'd been a cop for 6 years, and I was what I would call a seasoned blue belt. Very aggressive team in Oregon, very active team, very physical team. So I come to Vegas and I start going to gyms. And what I did is I didn't go to Vegas and just try to join a jiu-jitsu gym. What I did is I literally went to every gym and said, hey, I'm moving here for the job. I'm going to be a cop.
Yeah.
And I even liked a couple gyms and didn't join. And some of them were like, hey, we don't want to give you a trial. Like, this is what it is to join. I just walked away from those gyms because I was like, it's not the environment I'm looking for.
Right.
You should be more than willing to give me a trial to see if I'm a good fit. One of the gyms I walked into was Helson Gracie Jiu Jitsu here in Vegas at the time. They are now closed. There is one of his black belts, because I looked coming up for this podcast. I looked to see if there's any Helson Gracie Jiu Jitsu in Vegas still.
Yeah.
And there is one gym.
Okay.
They don't call themselves Helson Gracie. They call themselves like Nevada Self-Defense Jiu Jitsu.
Okay.
That's what it is. And it looks like they're holding actual class plus privates, which is different than Helson. I walked into Helson, very nice, clean studio, very good signage, marketing stuff on the walls, a receptionist who was a female. I don't know if she's part of the family, but she was Brazilian by her accent. So maybe a family member. And immediately started the sales pitch, and the sales, which I don't mind because it's gym, it's a business.
Yeah.
But the sales pitch was, oh my goodness, you're already a blue belt. This is great. You're going to love this. The way we do it here is you can have a private session with Master Helson. He's a red belt. Or you can have another person or max 3. Individual privates are what we suggest. So you're getting it straight from this whole argument Moneyberg makes.
Yeah.
You're getting it straight from the source. It's not diluted. It's pure water. And you're going to have these privates, and we're going to log the privates. And so many privates, you're going to get naturally advanced to this belt. So many privates, and we know you're going to advance because this is one-on-one instruction, not diluted. And we know the master will be able to take your game and elevate it. And so you will literally progress. Like we could plan out your journey and you're going to earn your black belt. And, I said, okay, I like privates, not a problem. I've done privates. I was competing. I would do privates, especially leading up to competition.
Mm-hmm.
Said, when are the group classes? And I noticed the studio was pretty small. And they go, oh, there's no group classes. It's private, semi-private. They called it a private, a dual private, or a semi-private. You could have up to 3 guys. And price for the private was this. You got a little break for 2 of you. And then you got a little break for 3 of you. But that's it. And they have to be members of the gym. And I said, so you guys don't. And I said, okay, well, what about like, we're all members of the gym. When do we get together and train together?
Mm-hmm.
She said, never. And what she stated was, oh, the potential for injury. Then you'll learn bad habits. And then da 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 da. You know, she goes down all these reasons, all of which I intuitively know are not good. They're wrong. Because I've already been doing this for a while. And I know the value of my teammates. Sometimes you're not happy with your instructor. Sometimes your instructor might irritate you. It's like a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I really value a teammate's perspective on life or on training more. They maybe resonate with me more than my own coach
Mm-hmm.
resonates with me. My coach might try to motivate me, but there's actually a guy over here who has similar likes, similar background, similar place in life. And he and I connect very well together, but he's not a black belt, but he really helps me on my journey. Um, there's, there's, I've actually liked my coaches. I've had great coaches. I haven't had any coaches I didn't like, but I've had teammates I'm very close to too, that have had huge roles, meaning roles, roles,
Yeah.
in my development and in my journey. And so I immediately knew not to sign up with them.
Okay.
Now, I never dog them out or make fun of them. Here's the interesting thing. I go to another gym, I join, I compete under them. I start coaching on that team and only a couple classes a week. I'm not like a main coach, but I'm coaching on a team that is competitive in the jiu-jitsu circles nationally, internationally. And you know, I'm going into my purple belt. Once I get on that team and I become a purple and I'm coaching, a guy who's law enforcement, but not with my agency, he's a Fed, but we know of each other. He leaves, he earns his black belt in the private setting. And there's also an interesting thing that I would say to Derek Moneyberg or whatever his name is. Let's say I do privates to a black belt.
Yeah.
What's the rest of my journey? Do I just keep doing privates or is that a destination?
Mm.
Because when I'm on a team and I'm going to the room and I'm training and I'm helping my teammates and they're helping me and I'm getting from the mat and I'm giving back to the mat, it's not about my belt anymore. So for me, I'm very motivated to keep going. I'm curious if that dude will keep training. Because
Mm.
what's he gonna do? Keep scheduling privates? And he says he did it, he never missed a day. Is that streak still intact? I'd be interested. It wouldn't make sense if your goal was a black belt, faster than everybody else, smarter, better, and now you did it. What do you have? What? Apparently, you're an army of one to hear you talk. You're
Yeah.
the only guy who's done this. You're smarter than everybody else. You're better than everybody else.
It's
So,
okay.
what did you get out of the journey? I value the gym so much that if I don't go, I miss it.
Yes.
And I miss the people. And I miss my teammates. I miss the guys who hold me accountable. And I miss the dude today that's a cop that also is a black belt that I chose personally for my 10-minute round to end our training session today with a 10 and 15-second round with a dude I knew would try to murder me the whole time.
Yeah.
And he did. And we had a phenomenal final round. I need to feel that guy's energy. I need to see him. He's valuable to me. This guy comes to our gym from there
Yeah.
because there wasn't an ongoing path for him. Once he had paid for the black belt,
Yeah.
it didn't make sense for him to keep taking private. So he bounced over to our gym. He just joined a gym.
Mhm.
He got filleted, just annihilated by blue belts,
Yep.
purple belts.
Yep.
Then he wanted to take his belt off. I was like, no, you have earned a black belt. You have a black belt. I'd say the same thing to Moneyberg.
Hmm.
If you came to class tomorrow and started getting rolled up,
Yep.
not taking your belt, you have to wear it. But now you have to live up to it. And what does that mean? That means coming to class 3 to 5 times a week, every week, swallowing your pride. If that's in the way, swallow your pride. Your pride is what wants you to switch to the other belt.
Mm.
Swallow it. And you're gonna roll one day like a black belt,
Mhm.
or you'll roll your belt. We always say your belt doesn't matter. Well, now that you have it on, it matters a lot because
Yeah.
you're into these other guys. Honestly, it doesn't matter, but I understand, and we had some very good discussion back and forth. He continued to train for a few years, older guy, and I think he just kind of aged out, and he
Yep.
never caught up. And I'm not saying he would have been a world beater if he would have come up with us. He would have. And here was the other thing I told him: hey, you'd have trouble with that dude anyway. Like that dude has a purple belt, but that dude's a monster.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Um, this was several years ago, and I was doing fine with him because I came up in that environment.
Mm.
So those are some of the things I think you can't get intrinsically from that one-on-one private. For your students, how do you mix those two things? How do you feel like class plays a role and privates play a role? And do you think you can do one without the other? And if so, which one would you cut out?
Well, if I had to cut one out, I'd cut out the privates. Like the advantage of doing class is so beneficial. As I told you just recently, you cut your teeth on it. You get different body types. Eddie Bravo used to say this about rolling with people. He said, if you're better than people, he said, called it the law of the jungle, which I really liked. So the law of the jungle is if you're stronger and better, then you end up attacking. If you are weaker, then you end up defending. So I kind of look at it that way. So when you're a white belt and you're going against another white belt, it's kind of a wash, but you need to work on your attack and defense. So what happens if Moneyberg goes in and he's with all these world champions and they're all better than him? How does that benefit his rolling ability to understand someone who's the same skill set as him? You pick up things by rolling with people that are different levels that add to your game. If I only rolled with black belts as a white belt, I'd probably be my defense would get really good over time, but I wouldn't have a true gauge of the middle ground in there. So I think class is more beneficial than privates, especially if you're going to earn a belt. Now, which brings me to a point. Moneyberg ended up saying recently, after the backlash happened, he goes, "Well, you guys, I'm going to paraphrase, but you're just not as smart as me, and I got in 3.5 years." And he basically was talking about how to get a belt, but the people who taught him went to class and wrestled people. They didn't do it the same way Moneyberg did. So I don't there's a disconnect there. So Chad, help me out understanding that part.
Oh, bro. So the same thing happened for me. And one of the things we're doing right now in talking about this is because we do know some of these guys, and we're not being disrespectful to guys who awarded him whatever rank they want to award him. That's up to you. I'm talking about this guy's behavior,
Yeah.
which unfortunately does tend to reflect back.
Mhm.
But that's a them problem, and that's not a Chad problem with them, right?
Right.
And I know them well enough that the way this guy talks makes me not think ill of them at all. And they are phenomenal coaches. They are. They're very good. And so the fact they've awarded the guy, but to your point, Moneyberg goes off on this tirade because I guess he thought there wouldn't be pushback on the way he's presenting himself. And
Mhm.
there's immediate pushback. And I think deservedly so. This guy's a goof. He's a goof. That dude is, I don't care if he's a successful businessman. I don't care if he has a lot of money. That dude's a weird dude. I have zero desire to get to know him or to be his buddy. I could care less about any of your followers or your money. I don't care about that. Some of the dudes who are in those pictures with you, I actually like those dudes.
Hmm.
I care about my relationships with them, but I could care less about you. You're a goof. And I say that because of the way you're presenting yourself, and he becomes offended. And then he says, and everyone's challenging you. What he's offended at is people are literally like, let me see you roll in a room with everyday people of your belt. That's it. And he's offended, and he goes, when he starts talking about how he earned it, and this, I felt the same thing you did. He's got Jake Shields beside him in one of those, and he might have somebody else in another one where he makes a comment. But he says, I did it in 3.5 years, and you're just upset because you couldn't, stupid. And he goes, I'm just better than you, dummy. And I'm thinking the dude next to you didn't do it that way. Are you calling him a dummy? Are you disrespecting the guy who helped you do that? You haven't once said, these guys were so incredible. These guys gave so much of themselves to me. I couldn't have done it alone. I'm so grateful. I realize people might doubt that it's true. I'm so grateful to this guy, and I'm so grateful to this guy. He doesn't say that once. I'm such a smart guy. I'm so amazing. In one of the interviews, Jake says, I tried to get him to roll with some local purple belts and blue belts. And I know why Jake, as a coach, wanted him to do it. And then Goofball says, but I said no, didn't I? And Jake's like, yeah, he said no. I couldn't believe it, you know. He just wanted to only roll with black belts. Because I only want the best. Your coach is trying to help you, Goof. But you are the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
A room you've never been in except for 3.5 years. And that's why I just, that, I'm not trying to foster that. That I don't want any part of that. You're a goof. And the other thing that I find personally irritating, because these guys are friends of mine,
Yeah.
so I've never seen you once. I've seen you say, I hired the best coaches. And I guess by proxy, that's you complimenting these guys, I guess. But these guys are in your videos. Clearly they're your video. They're not about them. It's about you, Moneybags. And then they're wearing, they have to wear a shirt with your face on it. Like, you're a goof. I would never ask my coach, hey man, yeah, we're going to do a press conference on you awarding me a black belt. And we're going to wear shirts. And it's going to be my face. And we're going to talk about I'm the best student you've ever had. And like, I would never even think of doing that. The fact you think of doing that, if that guy had to go to regular class, he couldn't have written this narrative. Let's say he earns a black belt in 3.5 years because he works really hard. He shows up every day, and the coaches just think he's progressing. He's putting the hours in and
Yeah.
think he's growing at the skill he's able to. I guarantee you, the guy who says he's the best in the world couldn't walk into Couture's and survive multiple rounds, like dominate multiple rounds in a civilian class. And you wouldn't be able to have that narrative. Because dudes would go, hey, I rolled with you. You show up every day and you do work hard, and coaches promoted you, and that's not your fault. That's all.
Yeah.
And the coaches can assess and promote for whatever reason, but you're not the best black belt. You get Donkey Konged. And that's what would happen to that dude. That dude would get Donkey Konged. Hard stop. And that's okay. I have guys who will Donkey Kong me in the gym, but I'm not doing videos about myself, telling everyone else they're stupid. So I think there would be no way to do that if you went to class. So even if you have that kind of guy, what do those kind of guys normally do, Ari? What are those kind of dudes? What is their path? You get a guy who's really egotistical.
Yeah.
He's really about himself. What happens to that guy in a team setting?
In my personal opinion, I watch them quit.
Yeah. Yeah, they go away.
Yep.
And they have a ton of excuses. I went away because the coach wasn't good enough. I went away because
Yep.
there wasn't enough competition in the room. I went away because they wouldn't recognize my grandeur. I went away. They go away for a whole host of reasons, but they quit. You get sifted out. And that's part of the process that happens in a team setting.
Yes.
It's not happening in a private. In a private, it's not my job to sift you out. In a private, it is my job to help you and
Yeah.
get you. In a team environment, it is your job to hold your own and to be valuable to that team. There is no one going online, and I'm an old man now. You don't have guys going online questioning my belt, questioning how I got it, questioning whether it's legitimate. No one does that. And I'm average as a competitor and as an athlete, especially at this age.
Right.
Okay. But you wouldn't last 3.5 years talking the way you're talking. You wouldn't last. You'd get Donkey Kong and you would quit. And that's been my experience.
So
Go ahead.
okay, so Moneyberg gets it in 3.5 years. He has some of the best coaches that give him privates to get to that level. He then puts a video out that says, you guys are stupid and dumb because you couldn't do it in that time. We've now pointed out that the coaches that taught him actually had to do class time and mat time with other people. So it kind of flies in the face of how he earned his belt and kind of slapping them in the face in some ways. You did mention that all of those pictures are with them having shirts with Moneyberg's face on it. So that's obviously a promotional thing that he has decided. There's money involved, okay? We have to be really honest here that why is, and I'm not shitting on Jake and the rest of the guys, but let's be really honest. They got paid to teach him. And also part of this, I'm assuming it's like, hey, please help me self-promote myself, which is Moneyberg, but for my channel and thing like that. That's why they did it. I think it's very obvious to everyone. Again, I'm not poo-pooing them on that. That's fine. But here's the next question, which we brought up at the beginning of the podcast, which I have to ask you. Is the person's character part of getting a black belt?
So not for everybody who awards them.
Okay.
For me, it is. For me, it is, but not for everybody who awards them. And because it is subjective, I think that can depend. There are gyms that are led by black belts that I would not want to be in the gym. Like, it's not my thing. I don't like the vibe, the character, whatever. So I will speak for me. For me, it is. I have had guys. I have one guy in mind. I will not say his name. Hopefully, he won't figure out I'm talking about him because it's a current guy. Civilian. Hard-nosed, tough, from another school in California in his early belts, came to us, advanced through his basically his white belt, advanced through blue and purple in Vegas on a team I was coaching. Physically a super hard-nosed, tough dude. Tapping some upper belts. Definitely wrecking dudes at his level, but almost unsafe. Like, people don't want to train with him. Getting into many fights with teammates that don't get into fights with other people. Showing up a little bit when he wants. When you try to correct him, a lot of pushback. A little bit of pouty demeanor. And then asking you about his belt. I deserve it. When are you going to award it? Didn't you see me tap so-and-so? Didn't you see me? To where I say to him, first time he does it, I'm old school. I started in 98. He asked me about his belt. I said, whatever I was going to think about, it's a year now. Bring up your belt again. It's another year. Don't talk to me about your belt. And I thought that would be enough of a lesson. He brought it up again. And then that told me as a coach, for this student, you're going to have to interact with him about his belt. So then I said, okay, you want to know? I said, it clearly, like he was frustrated when he did it and he didn't want to do it, but I could tell he couldn't help it. So I go, I'm not going to tack on another year. Clearly, I need to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And maybe that's on me. You're unsafe. You're a crap teammate. You don't help anybody else get better. You thrash lower belts and you sub them 5 times in a round with the same submission. You don't at any point correct them. You're moody. People think you want to fight them. I try to correct something with you or address something, and he's getting mad in front of me. And I go like, right now, we're having a conversation and you're offended and you think you want to tell me. And some of that is that ego on the coach's end. He would have said yes, I'm sure. Well,
Mhm.
eventually he quits. He
Mhm.
leaves. And he comes to me and kind of makes an ultimatum one day and goes, hey, I'll just leave. And I go, that might be a good idea. Like, you're not going to get promoted by me. He leaves. He has come back. He's gone for like 2.5 years. Came back earlier this year, has the same belt. So nobody else promoted him. I don't know what he did. He didn't take it all off because he's still in shape and he's still semi-sharp. And he came back and he's not the kind of guy who can have long walks in the sand and holding hands and reminisce. And the most he did is said, hey, coach, it's really good to see you. And I'm sorry about how I used to act when I was younger. It's only 2.5 years ago. I go, hey, no problem, brother. I'm super glad to see you. How amazing is that? And now I play less of a role in who gets promoted anyway. So this might be the best timing for you. And he goes, that's no problem, but I want you here if I get promoted. When I get promoted, I'd like you there. I go, very cool. That's as much of a talk as we've had. Well, I watched the guy now, he's doing all the crap I talked to him about. So he's no longer dangerous, he's no longer hard to roll with.
Mhm.
You can put you if you're an upper belt for me, I should be able to put you with a woman and not think you're gonna grab her boobs or get a feel of her butt or
Mhm.
do something inappropriate.
Yeah.
Or get into an ego contest where you thrash her if she does something good to you,
Yeah.
good against you, like movement wise. If you're an upper belt, I should be able to put you with any white belt in the room, any of them, and you should be completely safe. If you're an upper belt, I should be able to correct you, demo on you. I could never demo on this guy. This guy would resist during demos in front of the room.
Mhm.
Like I could never demo on the guy. Like if you're an upper belt, you should almost be able to teach by brown, black. You should be starting to instruct purple even. You should be teaching some segments, warm-ups, whatever. Um, so for me, it matters a lot. Your character in terms of team dynamics. Now, your overall character as a human matters a whole bunch to me, to the point where I don't need to be associated with you if you're going to be just a goofball and acting out all the time and stuff. For Chad, that's not appealing, and I don't know it's appealing to those guys. There's a business arrangement in place, and that guy's their boss,
Yeah.
and he's their client. Client's a better term because
Yeah.
they can terminate the relationship.
Yep.
He's their client, and they're probably doing well by him as a client.
Mhm.
That's okay. This is listen. As a black belt, when I promote a guy, I got to live with that. I got to live with the people I promoted. So I'm not mad at anybody else,
Yeah.
but all my black belts can all fight. They've all been in the room for years and years. Nobody questions if they're a black belt, and they're all good dudes. So I don't. For me, it's not controversial. Excuse me, controversial.
Yeah.
I don't have a single guy I've ever promoted that would think of putting his face on a shirt and asking me to stand next to him for a video.
Okay. I would say the majority of the instructors out there, the black belts that promote other people, want character to be part of that process. I don't think it's just a technical skill. I don't think it's just money. I would say 98% of instructors that I know reading like, is that person a good person? Okay. So I'm going to just say that. However, let's say that Chad, you promote a guy to a black belt. He hoodwinked you and you thought he was good. I mean, sometimes, character, we make mistakes, we don't see it, or he develops some things over time. What happens when that black belt ends up owning a gym, and then all of a sudden there's now comments about him sexually being inappropriate to female students and things like that, and he's a multi-level black belt. You promoted him. Can you take away a black belt? Should a black belt be taken away? Does it mean anything to take a black belt away? What falls on you as the instructor for having one of your students do something bad, if anything, or not? What would you do in that case?
So I don't believe you can take it away myself. You gave it, guy earned it, or gal earned it, whatever the case is. I believe you can unaffiliate or unassociate with them.
Okay.
I believe that's as much as you can do. I don't think you can take it away.
Yeah.
It's my own opinion. They earned it.
Mhm.
You gave it to them. There's no taking it away. I've heard of guys trying to give it back, like the one guy I mentioned.
Yeah.
Another guy that's a really good guy, I will name, because I'm going to speak about him with a lot of respect, and hopefully it doesn't get misconstrued. Ensign Inoue
Oh yeah, I remember that.
has
Yeah.
become a friend of mine over the years, and we are friends. And I value him for his character, for his warrior spirit.
Mm.
Anyone who's seen Ensign fight, you can't doubt that guy's grit, his passion, his courage. When Ensign came back to Jits, they had moved on to modern jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He wanted to become a purple belt. He wanted to give his black belt back. We were already friends at that time, and I messaged him. You can't give it back.
Mm.
You have to live up to it, and you've earned it. Like, because a guy can invert under you and do some sporty McSporty sweep, which, by the way, is awesome, does not mean you're not a black belt. Be proud of your belt. Like, you earned it. You pioneered the way for us to have a sport where a guy can make a living off jiu-jitsu. You were a pioneer in that. My opinion is you don't get to take it off. And you're a guy, I know you. You talk about not having ego and death to your ego and all that stuff. And the only reason you want to take it off is dudes are tapping you and you don't know how to stop it.
Mm.
So either if it's that important to you, two schools of thought. It's a modern jiu-jitsu that I don't really play. And bravo, you can tap me. Now let's start punching each other. Let's start adding in, let's fight.
Mm-hmm.
Or that could be one way. Or number two, this is important enough to me that I'm going to learn how to defend these leg locks or this position or this. And, and then over the years, I've seen him several times and really just told him how grateful I am to him for the example to me. I would hope as a law enforcement officer, if it was that day and we were really fighting, that I would fight with the intensity of an incident anyway, And I told him, you are one of the people that if I feel a little fear, a little anxiety, I want to fight with the fervor that you fight with. And so he and I have become friends. But he was a guy who wanted his self. Another one that's in the industry, it's open. So once again, I think our rule kind of is, if guys publicly talk about this, we can talk about it. But I'm not a fan of taking away a belt that's been issued. Not a fan.
Yeah. Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I think you can unassociate or unaffiliate with someone. You can make a statement about what your personal feelings are about them. Because I would think at the time that person checked all the boxes. I know that my instructor, Keith Owen, used to say, I won't promote you unless you're a good guy. That's what he used to say. And good guys can turn bad guys, or you can be a sociopath and you can fool people and things like it happens. So I think it's our intention that we want to promote good people. And I think that if someone went bad on me, then I would just disassociate. And if someone asked my opinion, I would probably have to make a public opinion about it. And then I would move on. So
Now, another thing is, you take Colby Covington for example. I don't know what belt he holds or if he holds a belt in Gi Jiu Jitsu, but I'm told that Colby is completely different than his public persona. I'm told that he's actually way different. He is not loud and crazy and, hey, I want to screw this broad and, hey, alpha male. I've heard he's not like that at all in
Okay.
person. I've heard he's down to earth, open, friendly. I've seen Colby. I've been in the same room. He's treated me fine, but I don't know him. But I've heard he's great. That's a public persona. For all I know, Derek Moneyberg is doing a public persona. I don't know. However, I will say this. If someone's competing and trying to get fights and they're playing a game, that to me is not them. That has nothing to do with anything. That's a shtick.
Yeah.
I do know, I'm familiar and have been in teammates with people with Chael. Son and Chael and I are not close. We're not friends. We're not in each other's phone, but we have trained on the same team before, and trained with the same coaches. Him in the pro area, me in the regular area. Chael's is completely made up. Like the way he acts on camera, like when he was fighting, that is complete. I know him. Like, even though we don't know each other, if you ask Chael if he knows me, he'd probably say yes, we're friends.
Mhm.
We're not really friends. He would be very gracious though. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You get around the guy's a nice guy. The guy's a great teammate. Was for years. So the Moneyberg guy, now my problem is if it's a stick to make money or a business, I would find it distasteful. I wouldn't participate in it. But that's just me. I would be like, dude, you want to do some jujitsu lessons to sharpen your jujitsu? Cool. Not wearing your head on a shirt, and we're not doing public statements about your abilities. Like, but I'll train jujitsu with you. That would be Chad's approach. That doesn't mean someone else couldn't take a different approach. And I don't make all my money in jujitsu.
Right.
I've got multiple income streams. My main income stream is not jujitsu. I've worked very hard, but I've been blessed with a side income stream that over the years has become consistent.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'm sure there are some out there who go, oh, well, he could waive this amount of money to you. That's not really an appeal to me. But I've also been very, very blessed in some areas and planned, and I'm doing well, and I'm grateful for that.
So you mentioned how Chael was on screen and how he is in the background are different, and then you mentioned that Moneyberg could be the same. So let me just say that with the advent of social media, people have created personas about themselves. They've become influencers, whatever the hell that means. Um, and they pretend to be something that they're not. So if you're looking for authenticity, it's sometimes hard to find online because the more controversy that you stir up, the more clicks you get and the more money you make. So this is the problem I have. Uh, um, I think that you, in particular, I know you very well, and how you are presenting right now is who you are in real life. And so I think that it's aligned. Those are the people that I personally want to be around.
Yeah.
When we're younger, our egos get involved, and we do try to present ourselves. And I think we all have suffered from it at one time or the other. But as I get older, I see that I want them to be aligned. My wife has a great quote that she picked up, and she basically says, "When people show you who they are, believe them."
Yeah.
And I'm like, there it is,
There's
right?
been a lot of recent conversations about that kind of thing lately.
Yeah.
Very interesting, very cool. Yeah, it's so true. And here's the other thing, like maybe some of those guys are really comfortable with that persona and that idea, and hey, we're the top. And I'm not saying those guys are or they aren't, but it's subjective, man. The
Yeah.
whole argument of whether or not he's a black belt, um, I don't know. He looks like a pretty average couch potato guy to me. If you trained consistently over time, you could earn a black belt and be a couch potato guy. His argument that he's some kind of sharp, like legit black belt, I say prove it. Like, let me see you roll with anyone that's not, you're not paying to conduct a private.
So
Like,
we haven't seen videos, legit videos of him. Like I've seen some clips and stuff, but it's not enough for me. I mean, the clips that I've seen are not at a black belt level, but I don't know when they were taken or anything like that. So um, I can't judge what his skill set is.
correct.
But the only thing I can judge is in 3.5 years, based on my 25 years of doing jujitsu, I know that 3.5 years, I know where that gets you. But then the argument is, well, you're not teaching, it's not from elite coaches. We've already talked about that grinding on the mat with your teammates is where it's at to actually help that skill set. So I think there's a massive gap likely in his game because he hasn't rolled with hundreds, if not thousands of people, which I think is a benefit to what we do.
It's a massive benefit. And here's the other thing, like, let's say he is a legit black belt. Let's make the argument if you or I had him come to class tomorrow and he worked in,
Yeah.
and then we rolled with him, we go, okay, guys, black belt.
Yeah.
He's not doing himself any favors screaming about the 3.5 years and screaming about how he's better and everyone else is dumb.
Correct.
Because once you start doing that, like, come to class, dude. Sign the waiver, and come on down and just do regular class and come and show us. Because, by the way, you could make us all better. Like, you are the smartest guy. No one's as good as you. Like, come on down and let's roll. And you might show me a detail I'm missing in some kind of sweep or something. Let's do it. But it comes off. I think why it's distasteful is, number one, it's not a traditional path. And the traditional path is there because there are certain markers. It's hard to earn a black belt from a legit school, like where all these guys teach that he's earned a private black belt from.
Yeah.
They all have schools. They all teach at different places. It's challenging to earn a black belt in those locations. And it's I think Eddie Bravo, again, you mentioned Eddie earlier. I think Eddie Bravo said, and I'll use his language, said jujitsu is a douche meter, something like that. Like, he used the word like a douche finder. And what he basically said is, like, you come to class and act that way, you're just going to be in a war. It's not going to be a private, dude.
Yeah.
It's going to be, dudes are not going to be afraid of you because we all have rolled with tough dudes. And if you're that way in real life and you're wearing your shirt to class and your face on it and you're being loud and telling everyone how dumb they are, like, you're going to get real rounds. No one's going to run out the door. We're not all going to quit. We're not all going to go, oh my goodness, this is greatness like I've never seen before. The very coach you're taking privates with, we roll with, and that dude smashes us.
Yeah.
So, come on out. And that natural selection or deselection that occurs in those environments is valuable. And I think there's value in going through those processes. Academies for law enforcement or military, selection processes for military. When you go through a selection process for the military, every dude who shows up on day one is in decent shape. They're already in the military. Mm-hmm. All gone through boot. They think they're going to be a SEAL or a Ranger or whatever they think they're going to be. And they all go through selection. That process just weeds dudes out that are about themselves. Those dudes go away. And the traditional process has a tendency to do that. Guys get through, for sure. Guys make it through the process that, for lack of better words, shouldn't.
Yeah.
But it is a deselector that is valuable. And you can't act that way daily in the gym and just not get swarmed. And I think there's some value for all of us. It helps me. I wouldn't say jiu-jitsu makes you a better person. It's not a religion, anything like that, but it has positive benefits.
Okay.
You know, especially if you're trying to improve as a human.
Mm-hmm.
It will assist in that process. Privates will assist my jiu-jitsu game in getting sharper. Grinding on the mats will assist in me getting sharper.
Yes.
And I can't get that from a private with a coach when I'm a client. It's
Okay.
two different things.
So as we wind down this episode, I'm going to leave you with this one. I'm going to ask you this question. So everyone, whoever's listened to this, there's going to be some people out there that go, why do you guys care? Like, you have no dog in this race. He got a black belt 3.5 years. It doesn't affect you, Chad and Ari. Who cares? Like, why is this even on your lips to even talk about? What's the benefit of talking about this?
First off, I don't really care about him getting a belt. That's why, like, I'm not one of these guys who's saying all these guys are frauds or they're sellouts. I don't care, other than it's a public topic, and I think there's value in the discourse because he is saying, I'm the only guy who's ever done this. Look at me. The rest of you are stupid. That's why you're mad, dummy.
Mhm.
And I am thinking in my head, there's a reason no one else does it that way because it's not that valuable. Congratulations. You scheduled and paid for a black belt, and you're the same dude as before. I'm a much different dude than walked into a gym in 1998, not even believing I could be a black belt.
Right.
And facing it every day and facing down multicolored belts. And it has enhanced me. It has changed me. It has made me better than if I didn't do it. For you, apparently, you're the smartest guy ever, and everyone else is a dummy. I don't think it changed anything for you, Derek.
Mm.
You scheduled and paid for a black belt. And to your credit, I have no reason to believe you didn't. I find it hard to believe you never took a day off in 3.5 years. I find that interesting. How does your coach not take a day off in 3.5 years? Like, I just don't know how that all lines up, but whatever. Okay, let's say you did it. Apparently, it did nothing for you. So for me, the discourse is interesting, is important, and I think some of the vitriol against it is wrong, and that's also why it's important to talk about.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying he can't be a black belt. He can't. I don't know that that's true. I think he probably is not. I think a private black belt, private instructed black belt, is very different than a grinded out week after week on the mats, supplementing with private black belt. And I think the grinded out supplement with private black belt is sharper, or even the grinded out earn my black belt will beat the private black belt if they just go head to head. I think the other guy will win. And this guy has a perfect opportunity to prove me wrong, but he won't. Chris Brennan, you know, the West Side Strangler.
Yep.
Just a great old school guy. Chris Brennan said, I'll pay you 10 grand.
75,000.
No. He said 10. Derek said 75.
Correct.
Derek wouldn't do it for 10.
No.
You know why Derek won't do it for 10? He wants no part of Chris Brennan. And by the way, Chris Brennan could pass my guard, but I would love the opportunity for free $0, Chris, to train with you because I can learn from you.
Yeah.
You can make me better. You can add to my game. You can say, Chad, why are you not doing this? Or you can say, Chad, that's really good, that thing you're doing. And I would welcome for free. It's $0. You ever come to Vegas?
Yeah.
Extreme Couture for free, Chris. Come train with us. You don't have to pay a single dime. And I would never even attempt to talk down to Chris Brennan.
No.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So that attitude is why I think it's worthy of discussion.
What were the parameters for Derek to get a black belt? That's the first thing. I have no idea. So if they say he's a black belt because he can do an UPA, I guess he's a black belt. I know that's not the case. Now, the second thing, which I find a little strange, is I know that he didn't train just with one person. So let's say he has a private coach of 6 people that are all world class, which is amazing. Now, his fundamentals, they each have a different game and they're all amazing. But can you imagine the mix up in Derek's brain of getting 6 world class coaches and they're different each day? I have no idea how he did it, but like I couldn't do that. Like as
How
a
do we coordinate? If we're one of the 6, how do I coordinate with the other guys?
you don't. And it's kind of like, what did you learn with Hoist yesterday? And it's like, well, Jake, this is what I learned. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to show you the wrestling version of this. And then he's like, "Brr," like I've done jujitsu for decades. I know how difficult it can be to listen to one person as opposed to listening to 6 people at the same, that's crazy. So I don't know how he did it. I guess he's a Superman. I'm an average jujitsu guy, but we chatted about it anyway.
I'd roll with that dude anytime. Bring your sweet bullet down to the gym.
Yeah.
And we can roll it. And by the way, like as fellow black belts, like I don't need to I don't care. It doesn't make my day better or worse if you sweep me or you beat me.
Yeah.
Shoot, I might learn something.
Yeah.
But come down to the gym, start training, dude. You're a black belt now. Come down to the gym.
You can find Chad at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, Derek, if you want to. I love how everyone's challenging the guy. Like it's hilarious, but it will eventually fade, Chad. I just thought it was an important topic. You and I talked about that. So I think the takeaway from this podcast is if you're doing jujitsu, you really are going to get a benefit of going to class every day, grinding. As Chad always says, struggle lasts. So that's a really important one. But also, if you have the opportunity to take privates from your coach or other people or people who are better than you, do that as well because they will refine those fundamentals for you. And there's a massive benefit. So do both.
And I still love all the dudes who I don't know who ultimately I guess Jake awarded him his black belt. Jake's one of the best coaches in the world, and that dude has helped me immensely and in my game. And he's a great guy. I have no issue at all with him in the way that he treats people who are learning from him. He's very giving. Frank Mir is a great guy who's helped the cops here and done seminars and been very useful.
Yeah.
Hoist, I only know peripherally.
Yeah.
I've met some of the other guys, but yeah, they can award black belts to whoever they see fit.
We will throw this one up. And remember, you can reach out to us at any time. Chad and I are very receptive to getting feedback. We love new topics. Remember, if you have a topic you want us to talk about, send us a DM and we'll tackle it for sure. And till next time, Chad, thanks very much, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. It's good to see you.